Hey everyone, Lex here with Alamo City Movie Talk. Just got back from the theater and we're here once again reviewing another film that we got to see this week. This is a solo review, but a full review at that. It's probably going to be short, guys. I'm going to talk to you about what I watched today, and it was You're Cordially Invited. This is with comedy legends Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon. It was very interesting to see Reese Witherspoon back. Well, in movie format, I should say, because I know she does the Good Morning Show on Apple TV Plus. I haven't gotten a chance to do that, but I know she's phenomenal in it. And this is directed by Nicholas Stoller. The premise of the movie, and this is how the description goes, is when two weddings are accidentally booked on the same day at the same venue, each bridal party is challenged with preserving their family's special moment while making the most of an anticipated tight quarters. In a hilarious battle of determination and grit, the father of the bride, Will Ferrell, and sister of the other bride, Reese Witherspoon, chaotically go head-to-head as they stop at nothing to uphold an unforgettable celebration for their loved ones. Yeah. That's a very interesting premise. I actually went into this movie not knowing anything about it, not even a trailer, actually. So the movie does a really good job at, like, from the get-go. I want to say within the 10 minutes of the movie, it pretty much does the setup of what's described there. And it hooked me. I was like, that's a very interesting premise. We've seen a lot of kind of like, bridal comedies and usually like family members going against family members, but this was an interesting dynamic of like the overbooking component. So we were hooked from the moment in terms of like the concept. I gotta admit, in execution, not everything worked for me right here. The movie is an hour and 49 minutes. It felt a lot longer than that, and it felt like it didn't need to be as long as that. A lot of the back and forth pretty much could have been captured in about an hour and a half, maybe, I dare say, even less. So, you know where I'm going with this. Pacing was a bit off. I think it's a combination of pacing and writing, actually, because director and writer Nicholas Stoller has made some really good comedy movies. He directed Neighbors. He's done a lot of the Muppets movies, which are really highly rated, and the delivery and timing for the world of Muppets works really well. I like Neighbors at all. I found that he actually was the writer or one of the writers to Yes Man, which is one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite Jim Carrey movies. So Nicholas, as director, has been in the business for a while, and he knows what works for him, and it's a lot of these comedic, usually, once again, the 1v1, right? There's a protagonist and a protagonist going against each other. Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon were actually pretty funny in this, and they're pretty great in terms of, like, their roles and what they were demanded for. I think the writing is where things really fell apart. I cannot say this is a good movie, guys. It was fun, and the audience had some laughs here and there. I'm actually a big fan of Will Ferrell, so some things that are not to some other people's taste of Will Ferrell's films, I actually end up like loving that. But here it was a conflict in the writing of like they were making some of these characters like the most annoying possibly characters, and then they would kind of flip it, and then they're like relatable and you understand their reasonings, and you're like, oh, okay, some progress is being made here. And then they go and do something extremely stupid for the sake of comedy, but against the character. And some of these movies play like that, but this one did it like repeatedly. It was kind of like this vicious cycle, and it might have been on purpose, but I don't think it was executed well. This has other great actors that I actually love, especially in comedic settings. Geraldine Viswanathan. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Meredith Hagner, Jimmy Tatro, who I usually love. He usually plays a very similar character all the time, but I love his characters. And then there was a lot of newcomers here that I personally haven't seen. Some of them in very small scale, and yeah, it was funny, but a lot of these characters were written they were very one-dimensional and almost kind of trying to capture, like, especially on one of the wedding parties, there was a lot of like millennials and Gen Z mostly and things like that, and so they really drove on that. But in terms of the leads, there was a lot of good moments there. So why kind of sacrifice those moments by that constant rinse and repeat of like, oh, it turns out they're not good characters, or it turns out they're kind of shitty people. And then it's like, no, well, you know what? They're actually good people and good at heart. And then they do something stupid. I think that worked for the first like 2 or 3 cycles, and then they kept going and going and going. So that was one of my biggest downsides here, guys. Do I think the movie's worth a watch? I gotta say it fits a little bit better with the straight to home approach. Like in I don't know if in movie theaters it'll be as enjoyable, but in the home, maybe you have some like snacks and a couple beers and things like that. And I think that might be the perfect setting for something like this. But yeah, I mean, there was an important message here, but just kind of hidden between a lot of those cycles and kind of purposely annoying characters. So that is my take. I can't wait to see still more. You know, Will Ferrell still has his comedic timing in place and things like that. I think just a better script is what he needs. Same with Reese Witherspoon. She has everything from the drama chops. She's very funny when she needs to be. So under the right script, I think it's gonna be perfect. I hope Nicholas Stoller goes back to the drawing board on his next films. He tends to have a pretty good track record in this field for comedies. So yeah, I can't wait to see where this goes next. I believe it's going to be in theaters, but then it goes on Prime. So be sure to check it out. Let us know. Like, share, and subscribe, and let us know in the comments. We'd like to hear if any of you guys got a chance to watch it. You're cordially invited. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. Thank you, everyone. This was Lex once again. Stay tuned. Overall, it has been a pretty good January. This was one of the duds where I was like, I can't call it good. I'm sorry. But other than that, keep on watching movies and keep following. Take care.